Machine, the main event of the evening. Earlier in the night, we had a rematch from the 2006 Battle of Los Angeles. Now we have a rematch from PWG's All-Star Weekend 4, where on the second night, Pac, in his debuting weekend, on the first night, took on AJ Styles, and on the second night, took on El Generico in a match that many fans considered to be the match of the weekend. But now Pac returns to PWG. Returned earlier this year, came away with a victory over Kevin Steen, I believe, but now is in title contention and now taking on El Generico.
El Generico, PWG champion, beating the Human Tornado. And I tell you what, El Generico and Pac, this one will not fail to disappoint. Many fans have highly anticipated this match, and referee Rick Knox, the international third man, and will be in the ring to officiate this contest. And Pac, you know, his first two encounters here, or his debut weekend for All-Star 4, was, you know, it was very impressive, but I'm sure not what Pac wanted, coming up with 2 losses, but impressive showings nonetheless. And he has built up a huge fan base here in PWG and the United States. Pac wrestling exclusively at this point for PWG, but I'm sure fielding offers from around the world.
Well, Pac actually will participate in Chikara Pro's Rey de Voladores, the tournament of the King of the High Flyers tournament, and so Pac is actually his thanks to PWG, I guess his influence is spreading across America, and his popularity is spreading, and so in Chikara takes notice of a high flyer. I believe Pac may be joining Ring of Honor for a couple of days down the line. And so, fans, and not only fans, but other promoters have taken notice of Pac. And so, what a feather in his cap it would be to come away tonight with a victory over El Generico, to come away with the PWG World Championship, and and then go into these other bookings, these other tournaments, these other promotions as PWG World Champion. And that would definitely be the feather in the cap of Pac. And I mean, just for a man who made his U.S. debut some 6 months ago, that is that would be very impressive. Very impressive entry on his resume.
Absolutely, and we've talked about people who have made their impact in PWG and in the sport of wrestling. Excuse me, on All-Star weekends. Davey Richards.
Davey Richards, of course, debuted on the very first PWG All-Star weekend. Came away with the victory, actually, myself, in his first outing in PWG.
Well, you as well as me, we are stepping stones to greatness.
That's right.
We are much so there's no fault with that, But Pac also making his presence known, and who knows, we may be looking at a future PWG champion, and it may be tonight.
That's very true. It could be tonight, and I mean, if there is any night that is Pac's, that has to be tonight. But tomorrow evening, Pac would have, if he does come away with the championship, front chancery applied by Pac as he grabs the arm of El Generico, keeping it away from his body, but Generico breaks free, clutches on the leg of Pac, but Pac rolls through, has him in the full Nelson, and now trying to bring Generico down, putting his head onto his chest, cutting off the oxygen supply of Generico's throat, but Generico springs back up, breaks out of the full Nelson, goes into the waistlock. But Pac tomorrow evening has to take on Kaz Hayashi, and if Pac does win the championship tonight, that match will be a title match. El Generico, of course, taking on Tornado. Pac slips through, takes down El Generico, and gets him in almost like a camel clutch, but El Generico very quick to get his hand across the bottom rope.
And this is a very interesting match in the sense that both men are not ones to cut the rule book. They're not to throw the rule book out, so to speak. You see the handshake.
I think you're right, Disco. This will be a very sporting affair. But who knows? I mean, down the line, say this match lasts for another 50 minutes. Do you think at minute 51, Pac is still gonna play by the rules? He's still gonna look at sportsmanship as the best option, or is he gonna do anything it takes to defeat El Generico in order to win the PWG World championship.
I know we'd be upset if the match went 15 minutes. So I think that we would be encouraging some rule breaking to try to get this thing done with. But we want to see the best match possible. And El Generico now twisting back the fingers and now wrenching the wrist right there of Pac.
Pac rolls through, reversing, springs up to his feet, comes through, and now El Generico with his arm rung by Pac. Pac rolls him through, gets him in the side headlock, or the rear headlock. And now El Generico is down on the mat, looking for his way out. But you were talking before about Pac making his debut in PWG, but his debut in PWG was thanks in part to a match that Pac and El Generico had actually in Europe, where El Generico was so impressed by the abilities of Pac, petitioned for Pac to make his PWG debut, and that's exactly what he got. But that may have backfired on him. Wow! But Pac with an impressive display with the head scissors takes El Generico down. And Generico came charging back, but was caught in the arm drag by Pac. But so El Generico pushing for Pac to make his entry into PWG may have backfired on him, as now he has to face him, and Pac has proven to be a tough competitor. He has to face him again, and this time with the World Championship on the line.
That's right, and I'm not sure who El Generico petitioned to in PWG.
Dino Winwood, of course.
Well, does Dino Winwood speak Spanish?
I think he does.
Really?
Yeah, Winwood is a great is a name with a great Mexican history. Winwood.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very odd because he does not use the accent, so I didn't really know.
I think he sees the accent as
showing off.
No, when he speaks Spanish, you can hear the accent, right? But Pac rolling through, he's got the hand of El Generico all locked up. But yeah, I think he sees the accent as something more of a liability. I think he doesn't want in his position, in a commissionatorial position. He doesn't want non-Spanish or non-Spanish speaking fans, non-Spanish speaking natives to think less of him if he speaks with an accent, which is sometimes the case. In society, you hear him.
Oh my God!
Just springing up and catching El Generico out of nowhere and takes him down with the Hurricane Run of El Generico, as surprised as we are. But Pac really soaking in the adoration of the fans. But oh my God, that's the last time I'll try to make a point when Pac is against the ropes.
He lulled us into a false sense of security right there, and I think El Generico
did the same to El Generico.
Exactly.
Oh my God, El Generico taking a moment to reflect on the outside. El Generico a bit hesitant to get back into the ring, but Pac very sportsmanlike, letting Generico get into the ring without obstructing him, without attacking him. Now Generico has to rethink his game plan at this point.
And I believe that El Generico will be yes, he is a little bit more cautious. And
just letting the fans do his work for him, I guess, getting in the head of Pac. But now collar and elbow tie up, both men in the tie up, and Pac pushing Generico against the ropes. And now Pac has got, as you see, Pac has the mouth guard applied, and is not so much to protect his teeth, though I'm sure he'd like to have all his teeth later on in life, but it is to protect against concussions, actually, and that, it's something that has affected Quicksilver adversely. Quicksilver, of course, former partner and former PWG World Tag Team Champion El Generico, and concussions led to what seems to be the end, if not the end, a hiatus in the career of Quicksilver. So hoping to protect against that with that mouth guard. After when he does do those death-defying maneuvers, those high-flying maneuvers, those sometimes you can land awkwardly. Sometimes, say your opponent gets his knees up, your head, neck, your chin can barely run that blow, and that can knock you springs up and over the top rope and takes down Generico. A drop salt hits Generico right underneath the chin, right at the top of the chest, and takes the PWG World Champion down and out of the ring. Oh my God, what an impressive display from Pac. Pac showing to the fans and to El Generico that he is all business, that he is here to win. Not only is he here to visit the pay window, he is here to take the PWG World Championship away from El Generico.
Absolutely, and just an amazing display. And El Generico, you know, he's faced him before, so I can't say he's that surprised. But even those flurry of moves, El Generico has to be surprised, and he is taking a timeout. The only way you can really take a timeout in a professional wrestling match is to roll out of the ring and get the count. But back to what you were saying about Quicksilver, as we see Pac extending the hand.
Yeah, another show of sportsmanship. Yeah. Pac still keeping on with his sportsmanship. I guess not that frustrated with El Generico at this point. If anything, El Generico more frustrated with Pac at this point. Those kicks to the midsection of Generico driving him back to the rope. And now Pac shooting Generico pillar to post. Generico reverses. Pac springs up to the top rope, reverses with a twist. And then the extraneous twist by Pac ducks the clothesline from Generico, hits him with the elbow to the side of the head. Pac throwing Generico into the ropes. Irish whip reversed by Pac. Pac springs up again, takes Generico down with the Hurricane Rana, and now Pac has got Generico exactly where he wants. Door backbreaker by El Generico on Pac. Generico cutting Pac off at the knees, figuratively, not literally.
Wow, and that is the way to ground Pac right there. Take him off his feet into the backbreaker. But going back to the
concussions,
the mouth guard.
If Pac were to go for the Cancun Tornado, the double backflip, the shooting star press, any number of maneuvers. If he were to go for the Phoenix Splash and El Generico got his knees up, Pac may get a face full of knees, and that could be enough to knock him unconscious, to concuss Pac. And so that's what that mouth guard is there for. I'm not sure why more wrestlers don't do it. It's the leg lariat takes down Pac, but thanks to that mouth guard, Pac still has all of his teeth.
That's right. And well, El Generico, Quicksilver, we're talking about him with his concussions. Early in his career, he used an orange wedge because he could not afford a mouth guard. So Quicksilver always very resourceful.
Yeah, at intermission, which is often referred to as halftime, one of the other players' moms would bring some oranges that were cut in quarters, and Quicksilver would keep that orange wedge in his mouth. But unfortunately for Quicksilver, and this is what actually led to his concussions, about midway through the match, he would start eating the orange wedge, and there'd be nothing left to protect his jaw from concussing.
Yes, absolutely. And Dino Winwood, he would bring a bag of oranges, but actually they were not cut. So that was always.
Now, are you speaking to Dino Winwood's Mexican heritage?
Hey, you see what you want. I don't see color.
Bring a bag of oranges and a dozen roses. And now Generico picking Pac up into the tombstone piledriver position, but Pac reversing, and Generico trying to hold on as Pac is trying to reverse him and cartwheel through into the tombstone piledriver, but Generico put on the brakes and with elbowing Pac and preventing him from getting in the piledriver. Then with a snapmare takes him down. Now Pac with the rear headlock applied, having the blood flow cut off to his brain. Now, Disco, if you do have a concussion, which is is the case of your brain sliding around and colliding with your skull, would decreased blood flow to your brain be advantageous at that point? If you decrease the blood flow to the brain, it would prevent a hematoma from occurring, and that could be advantageous. I think we need to get the PWG science team on this.
I think I'm gonna go get on WebMD and see if that's possible.
You could go to the Discovery Science Center in Irvine.
I'm gonna go right now.
All right, we'll see you later, Disco Machine. As El Generico goes off the rope again, out of nowhere, comes away with the Hurricane Rana, covers with the leg 2 count only, as El Generico again caught by surprise. And
my
goes for
God.
the backflipping elbow drop, or backflipping senton, and now turned inside out by the diving lariat from El Generico. El Generico, after being caught off guard by the Hurricane Rana, catches Pac off guard with a diving lariat, and a 2 count only for Pac, as El Generico he is stunned. You can see trying to shake out the cobwebs, Disco.
And it should be Pac who's shaking out the cobwebs, but instead he is just clutching his head. And unbelievable. I can't believe what Pac can do physically in the ring, but it was all for naught because he had missed that maneuver, and El Generico was quick to capitalize.
The rib breaker by El Generico sets up Pac. Could be going through the Arabian moonsault. We've seen El Generico using on many occasions. No, going up to the top for the Superfly splash. We've also seen El Generico use, but Generico, after that Hurricane Rana, a bit slow to get up. Now Pac up to his feet, comes up to the top rope. Super Hurricane Rana by Pac. That is, I believe, about the 5th Hurricane Rana in this match, but Pac using them to great effect after he took El Generico down off the top rope, back into the ring of Super Hurricane Rana, and just drove the PWG World Champion down to the canvas. The back of his head and his upper shoulders just colliding hard with the mat, Disco Machine.
Unbelievable. The only man standing, referee Rick Knox, the standing 10 count, and El Generico now getting to his knees. But Pac, who gave the maneuver, is still clutching his head, and now slow to get to his feet. El Generico the first to his feet, and now giving the elbow, rocks him with a right elbow, another one to Pac, and Pac returning the favor. El Generico, they're just trading out right in the middle of the ring.
And another situation where that mouthguard could prove advantageous. You know, many a man has been concussed by those hard elbow shots in the center of the ring, and Pac with that mouthguard could be preventing against that. But nonetheless, El Generico definitely has him stunned. He has the advantage as Pac, though, reverses Blue Thunder powerbomb, hooks the leg, 1, 2. 2 count only as El Generico is able to kick out.
Nicely done by Pac, and now Pac gonna go for one of those high-risk maneuvers.
He's got him in position. Phoenix Splash off the middle rope. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 2 count only as El Generico kicks out. Pac somehow found the elevation to get that full corkscrew and land with that Phoenix Splash on El Generico. Impressive maneuver by Pac.
You know, the impact from the top rope would have been impressive, but actually going to the second rope, he actually did it faster, therefore eliminating a little bit of time and hitting that maneuver. And now Pac trying to, as if he had to get the fans behind him anymore. These fans are so impressed with him.
The crowd is definitely split 50-50. And you were talking about the impact from the Phoenix Splash from the middle rope. Imagine that Phoenix Splash from the bottom rope.
Oh, God.
But Pac going for the Tiger Suplex, but Generico has it well scouted, puts on the brakes, gets the wide vertical base, drops his center of gravity low, and now he catches Pac for the half and half, but Pac puts on the brakes, and El Generico receives a couple back elbows for his oh no, what is this? Pac!
Oh, he caught him,
goes for the swinging DDT, but Generico reverses, drops him down, 1, 2 count only as Pac kicks out. Unbelievable. Pac came off the ropes with that backflip, tried to catch him for that standing swinging DDT, but Generico dropped down to his knees, prevented Pac from getting the DDT on El Generico. Then Generico returned up to his feet, blocked Pac, and caught him in the almost like a suplex type powerbomb maneuver. But now Generico's got Pac in the corner. He's in position for the haluva kick. Generico stomping, and now the crowd behind him. When Pac rolls out of the way, Generico didn't raise his boot completely up. Oh! Hits Generico with the reverse Hurricane Rana, and Generico is stunned by it. But the haluva kick now turned Pac inside out, Disco Machine.
Unbelievable. What an exchange by these two men. The fans loving every second of it. The main event of All-Star Weekend 5, Night 1, and it is just a barn burner here in the Armory. And I tell you what, I don't know. I mean, even though El Generico is the world champion at this point, I cannot pick a favorite here, and we have gone over over the 10-minute mark at least.
Well, we remember what happened the last time you picked a favorite. You picked Davey Richards to win, but his chest was caved in by Loki.
I'm no Jimmy the Greek.
That's right. You're not handicapping any bets here, but still El Generico going for the haluva kick again. Diving out of the way, and Generico hitting the top rope crotch first, I believe, or maybe caught his knee on the top rope, and now Pac. The Sasuke special takes down El Generico. The beautiful flying maneuver by Pac on the outside, and Generico just taken down to the floor by Pac. Literally the man that gravity forgot.
Absolutely, and Pac getting fired up on El Generico here, throwing him back in the ring. He could be on the road right here to the World Championship, going to the top rope. It's either feast or famine for Pac right now.
Oh my God! Shooting star knee drop to the back of El Generico. Unbelievable covers. Hooks the leg.
Oh my God!
Generico somehow able to kick out of the shooting star knee drop from Pac.
Unbelievable. So inventive is Pac. And now, what does he have to do to put away El Generico going to the top again? It seems that his offense, if he's going to win the championship, is going to be from the air, and he's going up again. What is he going to go for? Going a little bit slow right here, and El Generico makes him pay for it.
Generico sweeps out the leg. Now the fans know it, and I know it, Disco Machine. You have to know it. They're setting up for the brainbuster on the top turnbuckle, but Pac has it well scouted, holding on to the top rope, preventing Generico from hitting that brainbuster. And now the hard elbow shot stuns Generico, takes Generico down, and Pac going up to the top rope, goes for Dragon Run, covers it, hooks it, 1, 2, unbelievable, Disco.
Unbelievable, the Dragon Rana.
Only
speechless.
Only garnering a 2 count for Pac, and the fans are rabid. They are stomping on the floor. They are smashing against the ring barriers. The fans are in as much of a state of shock as we are, and as El Generico must be, as Pac is just really taking the fight to the PWG World Champion.
Boss Rutan is smashing sternums. They're pandemonium here in the armory, and Pac just that close to winning the PWG World Championship, and here he is focused, but no! Oh!
Generico blocks the hard right hand attempt and catches Pac with a haluva kick, and now the half and half just drops Pac on his head, covers, hooks the leg, 1, 2, only as Pac somehow is able to kick out. What a crazy exchange that was, Disco.
I tell you what, and just as we were almost putting the belt around the waist of Pac, El Generico shows why he is champion, changing the tides that quick.
The fans, though, are behind Pac. They want to see Pac make a comeback. Actually, I'm not sure if they want to see Pac make a comeback or they just want to see this match continue, Disco. But either way, both men have given a lot to the defense and the capture of the PWG World title, and now both men will have to give just a little more as Generico, pointing towards the top rope, looks to be setting Pac up for the turnbuckle brainbuster, as we've seen him use on many an occasion, though actually last month at Album of the Year, it was not effective enough. He actually had to break out the turnbuckle the brainbuster on the ring apron to defeat Davey Richards. And so, I don't know if Pac is anything like Davey Richards, the turnbuckle brainbuster may be not enough to put him away. Oh, what is this, Pac? Oh my God!
Oh! And now Pac seizing the opportunity, going to the top.
Tornado, hooks the leg. 1, 2.
Oh my God! How is that only a 2 count?
I am as close to speechless as I have ever been, Disco Machine. This is incredible. Incredible in the truest sense of the word. This is not credible. What I am seeing before is a superhuman display by El Generico. He is somehow miraculously able to kick out. And now what is Pac gonna do?
Going again!
Pac has got to go deep in his bag of tricks, much like Felix. Oh my God! Oh! just brained himself going for a 720. He's got to be knocked loopy, even with that mouth guard in place. Pac, he has got to be down, and Generico slow to get up to his feet, slow to capitalize on this, but Pac may have just taken himself out of this match. The fans chanting, "Please don't die." I think Pac would be happy to oblige them at this point.
It may be a foregone conclusion. Pac, those high-risk maneuvers, you know, we talk about it, feast or famine, and now El Generico, I believe that he could just cover him at this point.
But Pac is dead. Well, there we go. Pac is dead weight, but he covered both the legs.
1, 2. Oh my God! Pac had enough presence, or maybe a pure instinct.
Just working on instinct, able to kick out. Unbelievable, Disco. Pac is somehow still in this match, and he is still in contention for the PWG World Championship. This is an incredible display by Pac.
Unbelievable. And now El Generico, is he gonna go for that brain buster? No, he's putting him outside.
This is exactly what he did to Davey Richards, pulling him to the outside, going for the brain buster on the ring apron, excuse me. But Pac firing back those shots to the midsection.
Oh!
The Gamengiri catches Generico right between the eyes, the high kick to the face, and now Pac goes up to the goes for the rider kick, but Generico ducked out of the way, and Pac caught him back up.
Oh no!
He's got Pac hooked up.
No!
Half and half.
Jesus!
Half and half on the ring apron. Oh my God! I have never before in my career seen anything like that, Disco Machine.
But El Generico smartly knows that he cannot win the match out there. Rolls Pac back in. 1, 2 count only.
Jesus Christ! Unbelievable. El Generico must not have brought his kryptonite, because Pac is clearly Superman at this point. This is a superhuman display, if there ever was one. I thought El Generico was superhuman in kicking out, but after kicking out of the half and half on the ring apron, the Tiger Suplex 85 on the ring apron, Pac somehow still has it in him, still has a wherewithal, still has the presence of mind to kick out. Now El Generico, he's got Pac hooked up. And now he's climbing up. This has got to be it, Disco. If he hits the turnbuckle,
no, Pac's still in it.
Oh, a kick to Pac on the top turnbuckle. And now he's got him hooked up. He's going for it. Turnbuckle brainbuster on the middle turnbuckle. Covers and hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. That is it. Pac falls victim to the turnbuckle brainbuster on the middle rope, and folks, it'd be just like thinking about the Holocaust if you were to join us tomorrow night for PWG's All-Star Weekend.